Hello, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We've got another important piece of news to unpack, one that touches on health, immigration, and the very real tensions that are being felt in communities across South Africa. Please make sure you stay until the end, because I'll share the sources of this news so you can check and verify it for yourself. And if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join us as we continue bringing you news that matters to ordinary South Africans. Now, the news making waves is about a Zimbabwean foreign national who allegedly slipped into a local clinic in South Africa in an attempt to receive HIV treatment but was caught and eventually thrown out. The reports suggest that the incident caused a scene, sparking heated conversations about access to healthcare for non-South Africans, especially those living in the country without the proper documentation. This is not the first time we've seen such issues surface. Clinics and hospitals have increasingly become the front lines of the immigration debate, with healthcare workers, patients, and communities often divided about who should be treated and who should not. The case of this particular Zimbabwean man adds fuel to an already intense debate because it touches not just on the legality of someone's presence in the country, but also on the sensitive matter of life-saving medication. Let's break this down. According to the reports, the man in question entered the clinic seeking HIV medication, something that is absolutely crucial for anyone living with the virus. Without consistent treatment, his health would deteriorate and the risk of transmission increases. But here's where it gets complicated. Healthcare facilities are already under massive strain. South Africa's public health system has long been struggling with overcrowding, limited resources, and underfunding. Many South Africans themselves often wait hours, even days, just to get basic treatment. So when undocumented migrants slip through the system, it often sparks anger, with citizens feeling that their own needs are being sidelined. The incident reportedly escalated when the man was discovered not to have the proper papers or legal status. Security intervened, and instead of receiving the treatment he had come for, he was escorted out. Onlookers say the scene was both tense and emotional, with some expressing sympathy for him while others supported the clinic's action, arguing that local facilities should first and foremost serve South Africans. This is where the bigger picture comes in. On one hand, you have a humanitarian perspective. Access to life-saving medication is a basic human right. On the other, there's the reality that South Africa is carrying a heavy burden when it comes to providing healthcare not just for its own citizens, but also for a significant number of foreign nationals. The Constitution guarantees the right to healthcare, but in practice, limited resources make it a very complex issue. We must also consider the human element in all of this. Imagine being in the shoes of that man. Living in a foreign country, struggling to survive, already dealing with the challenges of living with HIV, and then being thrown out of a clinic when you went there in search of help. For many watching or listening to this, it's easy to say rules are rules, but at the same time, it's hard to ignore the desperation that drives someone to take such risks. This case highlights the clash between legality and humanity. Many South Africans feel they are being left behind while foreigners take advantage of systems meant for citizens. But at the same time, others argue that denying someone life-saving medicine is too harsh, especially when the fight against HIV requires consistent treatment for everyone, regardless of nationality. What also makes this more complicated is that South Africa is home to millions of migrants from neighboring countries, with Zimbabwe being one of the top contributors. Many Zimbabweans come here seeking better opportunities, jobs, and healthcare. The collapse of parts of Zimbabwe's healthcare system has pushed people to cross borders, sometimes legally and sometimes illegally, in search of survival. Now, when incidents like this one make headlines, they deepen the already tense relationships between locals and migrants. We have seen communities clashing, demonstrations taking place, and political voices adding fuel to the fire. Some movements argue for stricter enforcement and immediate deportations, while human rights groups caution against actions that could be considered cruel or inhumane. It's also worth mentioning that healthcare workers themselves are caught in the middle. Doctors and nurses often find themselves torn between following rules and acting out of compassion. Imagine being the nurse who has to look into someone's eyes and say no to medication that could save their life. It's not an easy position for anyone to be in. As South Africans, this should spark deeper questions. How do we protect our own citizens while still upholding our constitutional and humanitarian obligations? Is there a way to manage migration better so that both South Africans and foreign nationals don't have to clash over basic rights like healthcare? And what role should regional governments, like Zimbabwe's, play in ensuring that their citizens do not end up in these desperate situations? For now, the man has been sent away, and the debates continue. Social media has lit up with reactions, some praising the firm stance taken by the clinic, others condemning it as heartless. What we can all agree on is that this situation reflects the larger challenges facing our country. If you're still watching, I want to thank you for sticking with me through this discussion. It's not an easy topic, but it's one that touches many lives in South Africa. Please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss more updates like this. We bring you the news that affects your everyday life, whether it's in our communities, our clinics, or our homes. And let me just end on a lighter note, because the news can sometimes get a little heavy. One person online joked that the clinic security guard must now add immigration officer to his CV after this incident. Others said the clinic should put up a sign outside reading, "No passport, no Panadu." Jokes aside, these moments remind us of the seriousness but also the absurdity of our daily struggles in South Africa. All images used in this video are for illustration purposes only. Sources of this news include Sowetan Live, Times Live, and Eyewitness News. So what do you think? Should healthcare always be a human right regardless of nationality, or should South Africans come first in a system that is already under pressure?